Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Macy Marie. A break-in at a local hangout. Today, 19-year-old Ethan Lewis was arrested after smashing through the back door of Summit City on Main and Whitesburg. Police charged Lewis with burglary and drug possession. I went to Summit City today to talk with the employees about how this impacts their business. As music played and people enjoyed their food and drinks, nothing seemed different at Summit City on Wednesday night.
And he came in and he didn't buy anything, and he sort of sat and watched our manager just really closely for the entirety of the night.
But come Thursday morning,
I was shocked.
The manager came in to find this store smashed open, 4 bottles of alcohol missing, and an empty cash register.
So that's a big blow to a place like this.
Ethan Lewis faces burglary and drug possession charges. Police caught him the day after the break-in.
When you do something like that, you're not gaining anything from it because you're making the place where you live worse. Like you're taking money out of the pockets of people who are trying to make this a better town.
Employee Kevin Howard says what Lewis did impacts not just Summit City, but the way people view the community.
I think for someone to do anything to kind of take the steam out of that's despicable.
But workers are not letting that bring them down.
I think this is one of the few businesses in the entire region that sort of try to create a sense of community.
The folks here still focused on having a good time. Police did not get the money or alcohol back. Employees say the business did take a hit, and if you want to support them, to simply stop by at Summit City and see what they have to offer. 1 man is dead and 3 others are critically wounded after a crash involving 2 motorcycles over in Pulaski County. That crash happened around 7 o'clock tonight at the intersection of US 27 and Kentucky 1247. Sheriff's deputies say a white SUV crossed the road and hit the 2 motorbikes heading southbound on 27. The driver of one of the bikes was pronounced dead on the scene. The other male driver and 2 female passengers were airlifted to UK hospital. We now know the identity of the person who was found burned in a driveway earlier this morning. Deputies with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office say 86-year-old Billy Bowling was found dead in a driveway on Yorkshire Estates Road. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led up to Bowling's death. And we'll have an update on this story when we have more information released over on our website. You can head over there, WYMT.com. Imagine being a sheriff's deputy forced to call a family in the middle of their loved one's funeral. The Bell County Sheriff says that is exactly what happened yesterday during a burglary. And it might surprise you who he says was behind the crime. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds has this story new at 11.
A family was attending a loved one's funeral on Thursday evening.
They've got enough on their plate to have to deal with something like this, and I feel for them.
While the family was there, police had to notify them that their home was being broken into. Luckily, police had a quick response time and have been in the area a lot.
It was one of our target areas for that kind of stuff. We'd had a few complaints of people breaking in.
And when deputies arrived at the house on Balkan Road, they found 3 people, and they were related to the man who died. Police say George Johnson, Mary Johnson, and Dolly Brock were all found at the home. Unfortunately, police say this is a common sight with people who may expect you to be gone for the death of a loved one.
They become targets.
Sheriff Mitchell Williams says if you expect to be gone, they are more than willing to try and prevent this from happening.
We've done it before, but we just need a call and a request to have it done, and we'll make sure it happens.
All 3 were charged with criminal trespassing. In Bell County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Police say that investigation is ongoing. A Laurel County man is behind bars after his girlfriend claims she was held against her will and beaten. Employees at a Walmart say the woman was hiding in the store to get away from him. Elmo Carlo. He's now charged with assault, 4th degree, and unlawful imprisonment. Police say she ran for help at Walmart when the 2 went shopping there.
Her story to us was that she had been held against her will in a tent on his uncle's property.
Carol was taken to the Laurel County Detention Center. Police say the victim's injuries were not serious enough to require any medical treatment.
And it's just been a beautiful evening here in the mountains. We've seen just plenty of sunshine throughout the day. A little bit cooler now for the overnight hours. You'll notice as we take a look at Interstate 64 over into Moorhead, we dealt with a few of those clouds. But now as we head into the overnight hours, we'll hang on to a few of those as well. Satellite and radar shows those clouds increasing just a little bit. You see rain chances to the north and west, but that's where they'll stay as we head into those overnight hours. Temperatures a little bit cooler out there. You can see already those upper 50s down into parts of Harlan, over into Wise, Jonesville, Middlesboro. Rest of us are still into those lower 60s. Really will drop it to about the upper 50s for the overnight hours. A clear night ahead. Valleys definitely could be a little bit cooler into about those mid 50s. But as we head into your Saturday, we have another beautiful day in store before showers and storms look to return for your Father's Day. Looking like a soggy work week ahead. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes. Macy.
All right, thank you, Paige. For generations, tobacco powered Kentucky's economy. While the industry is withering here, the bluegrass state continues paying addiction's deadly price. And now, as WYMT's Kyle Madura reports, the unlikeliest of reforms is calling for change in Washington.
Over his long career, he fought cigarette tax hikes and tougher penalties for big tobacco.
Now, I recognize I might seem like an unusual candidate to lead this charge.
But now, the country's most powerful senator believes a divided Congress can help the country kick one of its deadliest habits by raising the legal age for tobacco products from 18 to 21. He's teamed up with another improbable tobacco state politician, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia.
We can do things together that are important for the country.
Here's what McConnell says swayed him. E-cigarettes are hooking another generation on nicotine. Kentucky has a fraction of the tobacco farms it did 20 years ago, and the state is home to the highest rate of deaths from lung cancer in the country.
Raising the age from 18 to 20, well, it doesn't solve every problem, but it does certainly make it harder for those products to be purchased.
Look, he's a pretty astute politician. He knows which way the wind's blowing.
George Washington University political science professor Steve Billett says it's an election year and public opinion is turning. Big Tobacco donates big money to McConnell every cycle. But in perhaps the biggest surprise twist, the industry's lobbyists are publicly supporting this bill.
This is not really a big problem for someone like Mitch now.
Every bill is a long shot, especially in a politically divided Congress. But with support from McConnell and similar proposals in the democratically controlled House, there's reason to believe this one stands as good a chance as any. In Washington, Kyle Madura, WYMT Mountain News.
The bill would also require states to pass their own laws matching or exceeding the 21 and up standard. Those that do not would lose out on big chunks of federal cash. First responders in Pike County need the community's help making sure they can find homes in the event of an emergency. Fire chiefs from several departments have noted issues involving improper 911 address signage. They say numbers are often faded, hidden, or just not even there. Greasy Creek Fire Chief Robert Kendrick says the first step to fix the problem is to look at things from their viewpoint.
What people need to do, in my opinion, is go out on the road and look back at their houses. If they can't see an address, they need to put one up to where we can find them.
Kendrick suggested using reflective numbers, double-sided mailbox labels, and LED lights to make sure first responders know where to go. After 77 years, the remains of a Pikeville veteran are identified. Millard Burke served in the Navy during World War II on the USS Oklahoma. His ship was attacked by a Japanese aircraft, killing Burke along with 429 of his crew. With the help of scientists, Burke's remains were accounted for and living relatives reached out. His niece was the one who responded.
I've kind of come around and felt a little differently when they first came to my house. I'm looking forward to the celebration. I like to call it a celebration since we've decided to put him back into the punch bowl.
That funeral again will take place on July 19th. For the past 6 years, the Wolfe County School District has offered a free camp for kids interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. Children got the chance to create and design many things such as websites, bottle rockets, and Rube Goldberg machines. This program is hosted and sponsored by Wolfe County native Gary Booth.
I was vice president of research for Procter & Gamble for Europe, which was a lot of fun. But
Then after I retired, I was thinking about what I could do to help pay back the school system because it had been very good to me. So we started doing these STEM camps in Wolfe County 6 years ago.
And the STEM camp coordinator says they hope to offer a transportation option next year for children who are unable to get there. Still to come for Mountain News at 11. While the weather warms back up, a new warning for sunscreen users, especially children. And then a stunning turn in the investigation of the Flint, Michigan water contaminant crisis, why prosecutors dropped all charges against city officials.
And today was absolutely beautiful, but does that continue into the weekend? I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up.